Hi, everybody. I'm Robin, and these are my reflections. And today we are here to walk through the old style tarot as well as the old style Lenormand. These are two decks created by Alexander Ray and produced by US Game Systems. Here is the indie version of this tarot deck. I'm going to do a side by side comparison for anybody who has the indie version, which, if you're in the States, I purchased this from eBay. I'm not sure how other people got it, but I got it from eBay. So if you had the indie version and you were curious about the differences, I'm going to do a little bit of side by side comparison there, and then we'll also look at his older deck. This is the Lenormand deck that has been out for a little bit, so we'll look at them all. So let's get them out of their boxes. A new version by US Game System that's being produced in English. Shout out to US Games Systems for sending this over to me for purposes of review. I was looking at these. These are cute, these little cherubs. I didn't notice them before. Um, yeah, and so it says this charming 79 card deck pays homage to the classic European tarot traditions with appealing vintage style illustrations that highlight clear tarot symbolism. Designed to be a working deck, Old Style Tarot appeals to both beginners and those who read intuitively. An extra blank card can be used for further explorations of queries. The 104-page illustrated guidebook offers upright and reversed meanings along with advice, warnings, and quick answers for insightful readings. And that was in the indie version as well, but it's been translated into English. And I did look at this beautiful, like, I don't even know, forest green. I don't know if I would call that a forest green, but it's like a deep green. It's really pretty. Um, I took a look at the guidebook side by side with a translation from a couple of pages in the little white book, and it's, from what I can tell, the same, just translated into English. So that was nice. You do get the blank card. Let me see. So that's the bottom of the box. It did come with a blank card. I forgot to put it. I don't remember if it came like at the end of the major or whatever. I don't remember where it was in the box. I don't use it, so I put it in the bottom of the box. But it's useful if you like to have a stopper card, or if you want to use it as a significator card, or however you want to use it. Let's just take a quick look at the book so that you can see what's in it. You get a short introduction, which is a write up from the author, thanking you for telling you why they created the deck and thanking us for having it and using it and welcoming it into our collection. You get an introduction to tarot and about the structure of the tarot, ways, questions to ask. So this is good for beginners. You do get a couple of spreads, and then it gets into the cards, and all of the cards are set up the same way. You get the number, the name, an upright, and an advice, and then a reverse and a warning for every card. Even the aces and twos and all that. So even the minors, you can see there. So yeah, there's a thumbnail, which is helpful if you want to just look at it without having to have the whole pack of cards with you. And in the back, you get an about the author and a section for notes. And here about the blank card, which it just states that you can use it as a stopper card, and why a stopper card would come up, and then there's some reasons it would come up. And then, like I said, you could also use it as a significator if you prefer, or however you want to use it. It's nice to have an extra card. It's always nice to have a blank card. So this one did come in a tuck box, the indie. So that's one big difference. Uh-oh. What is this? That's our full. Here's on the front here. It came with a paper book, but like I said, the book is the same. There's no real difference in these books as far as I could tell. Using my Google Translate app, it's the same rating. And I remember this being a really decent book, and it had some really cool thoughts in it as far as the way that Alexander Ray reads tarot. But because it's in Russian, I never really looked twice at it. I think I looked at it when I first got the deck, and then I haven't really opened it since. So I'm excited to now have this that makes it makes it more accessible to me. It makes it easier for me um, to, it's not necessary because it's a RWS style deck. You can read it with any guidebook really, but it's nice to hear what the author has to say. So the backs are they are a little different in hue, and I think the backs are a good illustration of what is the true difference between the decks. Is the mass market version, this US Games English version, is brighter. It's brighter and it feels lighter. And the indie version it just feels thicker and richer. That's hard for me to really tell, find another way to say that. So the browns in this one are more tea stained, and this is more tan than brown, right? Um, I'm talking about the backgrounds there. And they just brightened it up. They sharpened it up a little bit. They moved some things around so that you can see the numbers clearly. Here is it's not much of not a big deal, right? But in some of them, the artwork goes right over the top of the numbers, or right over top of, the titles up here, and you can't see them at all. So they have fixed that. They moved them, shifted them down, moved them out of the way so that you can see the numbers clearly. So you can see they pushed him back a little bit so you get more of the image here, um, rather than it being so zoomed in. It's very slight adjustments. Like here is one of those instances where she's coming over top of the title here and they kind of shifted her down so you can see that six. Little stuff like that. There's not much of a difference. None of the artwork has been changed. It's just little things that have been altered to just kind of make sure that they're readable, they're legible, you know, and to brighten them up and clean up the line work a little bit, I think. The Wheel of Fortune, Justice. I will say this, I'm very happy to have the English titles because there were quite a few of these that really just confused me. Sometimes I would see them and be like, hey, what is that? Like here you can see that they put this looks like the alchemical reference for the sun to me. Here it's being covered up, so it's kind of hard to see, right? So they cleared that up so we can see clearly what that is. Um, yeah, it's just nice to be able to see the numbers, especially on some of the cards, because while it looks like an RWS clone, it's not actually a clone. There are some cards, it's not a clone at all, and there are some cards that don't even match the scenes. So, um, and even though that's so, you could figure it out if you look at them closely enough. But I'm gonna tell you what, every single time I use this deck, something tripped me up. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. So I'm really excited to have just, a deck with the same images, with words I can read and numbers I can see. So I'm excited. Oh, wait. Hang on. Oh, so like here you can see they've covered up all the whole title with this big hand. So they kind of zoomed it out a little bit so that you can see the titles. It's nice. Same here. I really like the interpretations on some of the cards. Like I like that Four of Swords, and this Five of Swords for some reason always makes me think Hierophant. I think it's because it's a five, and I don't know, it just feels Moses to me. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know. My mind goes to Hierophant. So it's nice to have the word sword on there just to help my poor little brain out. That's always struggling with something in this deck. Every card I picked up, I was like, every time, I mean, every reading I did, there was at least one card that I was like, wait, what is this again? So I'm excited to not have to be tripped up anymore because they are clearly labeled in a language that I can read. These pages, I promise you, the pages aren't that hard, but the knights, because if you look here, the knights are labeled with this letter that looks like a P, right? And even though they're on horses, every single time it trips me up, every single time. And then there's a page in here that's not a child. So then I'm like, wait, is that a knight? So yeah, there was always something. Wait, where's the knight here? Oh, there he is. Gotta look out of order. There you go. There you go. So we got Knight of Swords and Knight of Swords. Queens. Beautiful. Now we're into the Wands. Ace of Wands. I love this Two of Wands. I don't know. I like her outfit. I just like her. I like the wands. 3. The 4. The Four of Wands is clearly the Four of Wands, but I'm telling you, the Three of Cups, every time I see it in this deck, I think it's the Four of Wands. Every single time. And I'm like, wait, no, that's not the Four of Wands. You'll see. I'll show you. I'll point it out when we get to it. Love this 8 of Wands. And this one I always think is the Justice card. And that's a 9, not a 11. But for some reason, my mind just, whenever I see it, I'm like, Justice. And then, because it's not like this, it looks like this, right? And there's no words that I can read. So now I can clearly see it's the 9 of Wands. That'll help me because my brain has decided that's the Justice card. Knight, Queen, and King. So if anybody else was having a hard time with that and the indie, it's nice that all that has been cleared up. Nothing is covered up like here. You can see. I mean, this is not one of the cards that's hard to identify, even though the 2 is covered, right? Because it's clearly a 2 of Cups. You can tell by the imagery, but there are others that do become a little bit more difficult to, like this for some reason. Even though there are 3 cups here, she's covering up the 3. I can't see it, and this looks like a 4 of Wands to me. Like it just is, it feeling celebratory, So I always get that one tripped up. So I'm just happy to just have things moved out of the way of the numbers and clear titles that I can read. But I think that this is a beautiful deck, gorgeous. And I think some of the choices, like look at the 7 of Cups. Some of the choices are really exciting and interesting and different. Some of the imagery is just it's just beautiful. And Alexander Ray's artwork it's nice to look at. It's pretty. It reminds me of storybooks from when I was a child. So this is the page that always trips me up. Or yeah, the page. Yes, Page of Cups. See, I'm like, oh, he's a knight, but he's not a knight because he's not on a horse. So, and he's not a page, even though he has a page. But in the English version, there's no problems there. So the Queen and the King, and then the last suit are the coins. The 2. I always like this 2 of coins with these heads blowing on the coin. I don't know. Every time I see it, it's creepy, but I like it. I don't know. I like it. This is the 3, the little cherubs from the bottom of the box. Here's I should say that the cherubs from the bottom of the box are from the 3. Here's the 4. I love this 4. I love how he, and I know I'm not talking too much about the artwork, but I want to make sure we get to go through the Lenormand deck too. A lot of these cards, there's so much other stuff in the card that's not part of the main image that's interesting to look at. Like here we have a chicken. I love these birds flying in the background. How clearly the city has been drawn back here, our village that's back here. And then the choice to make him naked with a purple, just his hat and his purple throw here. I like this. I like the ideas of it and the way it's done. It looks like they removed the snow from this one, which does make it, like I said, sharper. I think all of the changes they made were just to sharpen the artwork and make it clearer, easier to see. You can definitely see what's on the coins better without the snow. And it doesn't take away from the fact that it looks cold there. And yeah. 8. Love him. I love an 8 of coins anyway. So 9. 10. Like it looks like we're looking through a portal at them, right? Some dream portals. There's our page. The Knight. The water peeking out back there. The Queen looking very much like a beautiful queen, even though in the other version it was covered up. You can this one is a clear queen. Some of them are like you can't mistake them, And our king. And that's the final one. Here are the backs one more time. Been using this deck to read with recently, do a couple of readings with, and it's the normal US Games cardstock. This is their sort of this is their, I call it the buttery mat. It's like a waxy coating on it, like maybe like I don't know, it's just like this soft, glidey coating that I love. And it just moves nice. They move easily. They're not hard to shuffle. The other cards are that cereal box stock, and because they're bigger, a little bit bigger cards, they hurt my hands to shuffle. If I want to riffle, it's almost impossible for me. I have to overhand those. These glide like that. Let me just show you the size. All right, so this is a normal tarot size card. They are the same height and just a little bit wider. And yeah, there you go. Same height and just a little bit wider. And which card is that? The Chariot. So let's read for the Chariot. Here it is. If you would like to read, you got the lovers there too. You can screenshot those if you want to see the rest of it. Now, like I said, it's the same for all of the cards, the write-ups. So you're not missing anything by just going through a major. So it says the Chariot, humming with energy and drive, gaining the upper hand in challenges unless you loosen your grip, shifting from stagnation to proactive mode, traveling, change of scene, remote communication, may indicate the end of one period and the determination to enter another one. And then the advice: there's no time to waste. You can take on the world, but you'll need confidence and discipline. Then reversed the oh my goodness, my brain, I'm telling you, I can't think. The phrases here or the interpretations are chaos, the situation is out of control, wasting energy or inner conflicts, instability, rejecting anything new for the comfort of old ways, losing brightness in your life, delay, and disrupted plans. And the warning here is you may lack the energy and confidence to achieve your goals. Try to keep an open mind on your chances. And then, if you want a quick answer, if you hold tight to the reins, you'll be the winner. However, keep in mind you still have a ways to go. And that is the write up for the Chariot. Yeah, so this is a deck I've loved for a few years now. I do like to use it in spring and summer. I like the fresh colors of it, and I like that they've this new version is going to be easier for me to shuffle. It's going to be easier for me to use because of, the cards being labeled in a way that I can read them quickly and easily, even if I get tripped up by the imagery, because the imagery is lovely, but it's not, I don't know, something about it being so close to the RWS without not being can sometimes confuse me, because I look at the cards and I expect them to be a match, but they're not always, right? And so it's like making my brain go back and forth, like, am I reading a clone or am I not? I'm not reading a clone. It's not a clone. So I definitely have to adjust my brain in that way. And I think it's so much easier because I've been using this one. It's so much easier to do with the labels on the cards, and so that I can see them, and they're in English now. But listen, shout out to people who read cards in all different languages. I used to shout out to Los Garabeo for teaching me how to read cards in many different languages. They used to put all kinds of languages on the cards. They don't do it anymore, but they used to. And I learned how to read cards using their cards in a lot of different languages. Russian was not one of them. So, I'm happy to have this version and this copy. So, thank you to US Games for sending this over to me. Now, let's take a look at the Lenormand. So, the old style Lenormand deck is the same artist and creator. So, the artwork is very similar. This one does come in a tuck box. It's a very sturdy, nice tuck box with a coating on it. This is the inside of the box. So the size of this deck is a little bit bigger than a little bit taller than a normal Lenormand deck. I really love the size of them. I don't know why. I like the way they feel in my hands. Maybe the length of them. They are, I want to say, probably the width of a bridge card, but taller. So this is a normal bicycle poker size playing card. So we can kind of compare here. All right, yeah. So they're a little bit more narrow than a poker card. A poker size card. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. But taller. So yeah, they're a different size for Lenormand, but something about the way they feel, it gives it like a nice hefty feel in my hands. Because sometimes Lenormand decks can feel really small. These are the backs. They say old style Lenormand on, and they definitely match the tarot. So that's nice. And in aesthetic, they also match the tarot, and we'll look at them together in just a minute. But just so that you can see, you get the rider, the clover. Now, this is not for the people cards. So just like the tarot, there's no diversity as far as racial diversity or anything like that. But there are two men and two women cards. So if you wanted to do same sex couples or just, switch those, you can play with those however you like. You do get the option of two men and two women. And when we get to them, I'll show you all four so you can see the differences in the men and women. They are clearly labeled, easy to read, beautiful Lenormand cards with nice big playing card insets in the corners. Well, they're not giant, but they're big enough to see. They're not tiny, right? There's nothing confusing about the cards. They're really clear and just pretty Lenormand cards. Clearly labeled, clearly the images, the symbols on them are clear. I can tell the ring. I can see a book. I can see a letter. There's nothing confusing about that. Here are the man and woman. And for the alternatives, I still have them here in the box. I chose you get a brunette and you get blonde. So here's the blonde. I'll just put them here so you can see them. And I went with the brunettes. I just preferred the look of them. There's nothing really, there's nothing really that I like. I think I liked her hat, and so I went with her partner. And I think this guy is creepy looking. For something about him creeped me out, so I went with her, and then I went with him. So, but you could mix and match these however you like. Lilies, sun, moon, key. Here's our flying fish, the anchor, and the cross. So there are no extra cards or anything like that. That's how those look. So let's take a look at them with the tarot. All right. So to shuffle them, because they're nice, they're a little bit longer. It makes them easier for me to get the bridge on them. Sometimes I have trouble with the shorter cards. And a bridge because I'm so used to shuffling tarot cards. When I was younger and I was shuffling mostly playing cards, I didn't have those problems. But now I'm used to shuffling bigger cards. The smaller cards do become a little bit more difficult for me. So let's just pick a card and we'll read from the book. All right, the heart. Why not? Okay, so in the book, let me just hold this up so you can see it. You have just a little history about Lenormand and the Lenormand deck, a little bit of how to use it, what kinds of questions to ask, what to ask, and what works well with Lenormand and what doesn't. And then it goes into the cards, and you can see that you get some keywords. Then you get the main reading, and then also how the meaning could change based on the type of reading you're doing, right? So if you're doing a people reading, if you're doing a relationship reading, a work reading, a well-being reading, and a finance reading, and it does that for all the cards. You can see there's for child, and we're looking for heart, which is 24. So let's take a look at what it says. All right, so I'll just hold this up. You can see it because everything is tiny. So it says love, friendship, harmony, happiness, support. The heart indicates comfort, happiness, and harmonious, loving relationship. It can refer to new relationships or increased feelings in established relationships, including close friendships. This card can bring serendipity, support from others, prosperity, and satisfaction in many areas. It signals great potential for personal growth. In combination with negative cards, it means the breakdown of relations, conflict, difficult experiences, or heartlessness. Now, just a note: when they say negative cards, if you're just going by this book, you would have to intuit what's negative and what's positive based on the meanings, because there's no indication in the book about negative, positive, or neutral cards. But if you have any other Lenormand book that has that, you can use that as what you're assuming is negative, positive, and neutral, or make your own decisions there. It says, in a people spread, the heart card reveals a caring person who knows how to give from the heart. There is a bright personality in the picture. He or she is in love, devoted, creative, and appreciative of beauty. In a relationship spread, it indicates harmony with the beloved, bringing emotional comfort and support. In a work reading, it promises fast, successful circumstances. A business partnership will support your projects and help you reach your goals. With heart card present, emotions will influence decision making, but in mostly beneficial ways. And in the issues of well being, the heart card shows a predominance of positive emotions and healthy attitudes. So yeah, it's a really good guidebook. It has a lot of really good information as far as like different ways to look at the card based on what kinds of readings you're doing. And I don't see a lot of little white books for Lenormand doing that. So it's nice to have around for sure. These laid out together. Let's see what we got. We got 3. So what will we do? 3 and 3? Or 3 and 2? I think 3 and 3. Switch that over. You can see there, I mean, obviously a perfect match. And even the backgrounds match up, the borders match up. That's really nice. It looks beautiful. Aesthetically, this is really pretty together. Yeah. Looks almost like it's old style. I was gonna say Victorian, but really it's like it's not really Victorian, but it feels old. And when I see things that are old, my mind wants to say Edwardian, Victorian, things like that. When I see like old style European look, my mind goes straight to like Edwardian, Victorian, but it's not, because there's some things on here that look Roman and some things that look Greek, and it's just old. Yeah, I like it. So there you go. So that's it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, you can subscribe. I release videos every few days regarding tarot and oracle. I hope this was helpful for anybody who was looking to compare the two decks and to see if they were considering picking up the new one, considering picking up the Lenormand with it, things like that. And, you know, sometimes I have a hard time choosing, so I do like to help people do that when I can, if I have all of the components to be able to to be able to compare things, you know. Why not help people out? So that is that. Links will be in the description box below for where you can pick these up. There'll be Amazon affiliate links, so if you purchase from them, it gives me a couple cents. It's very helpful to me, so I would love it if you would use the links if you do decide to buy from Amazon. I'm also going to put the US Games Systems links below, because this deck, the tarot, is currently still on pre-order. So you can pre-order it from Amazon. You can also pre-order it directly from US Games. I think you'll probably get it faster if you pre-order it directly from them, if you're able to order from them directly. I don't know how much faster, probably just a couple of weeks, but still faster. The only thing about Amazon is that you get that pre-order guarantee, right? Like, so, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do. I'm gonna put both the links below. And until I see you guys next time, stay safe and be blessed. Bye-bye.